He said that it was on the basis of abandonment. I did not choose that word. I did not say that Kody abandoned me during that meeting. And so I can't be held responsible for that word or Kody's reaction to it.
We had so many individuals reaching out to us, asking where could they give? Where could they give in his honor? Hi everybody! Something fell through my radar today, which I just had to chat with each of you about. It's a sneak peek at what's to come on Sister Wives, and believe me, it is very emotional and also very strange. Something has felt out of place for the past 3 weeks. TLC has not aired the usual episode preview clips, and for the very first time ever in Sister Wives history, no coming up next clips at the end of every episode have been shown. It's strange. They've done this since the first season, so why do it now? Is it because of respect for the family? Is it the sensitivity of the issue? Sincerely, your guess is as good as mine. However, here's where this gets really juicy. TLC did release a very short clip on their Facebook page, just a small little sneak peek, and they're showing the kids in Wyoming. Janelle, Christine, and Meri's kids all gathered together, living together in what appears to be an Airbnb. It's one of those special times when the whole extended family gathers. And even though we never ever actually get to see Kody Robyn and their kids on camera with everybody else, that's just not going to happen. This is a family reunion episode that has a lot of emotional baggage. And here's the hook. This isn't just any episode. After this, we're getting 4 tell-alls. 4? Frankly, that's a bit too much at this point. Does it even serve a purpose to go back over the arguments and melodrama? The family is broken and these retrospectives nearly feel more agonizing than useful. So, what does the episode actually take place about? From a summary I found at Rotten Tomatoes. And yes, I double-checked to make sure it wasn't just a rumor. The family gathers in Wyoming to celebrate Garrison. Kody entombs a grave to join his son's ashes with his grandparents. It is a very serious moment, yet one that also leaves you with so many questions. Let's leave it there. I know nothing about the cemetery itself. It's called Penrose outside Powell in Bighorn County, but it doesn't sound like a family graveyard. I went to a place named graves.com, and there are all these miscellaneous names listed, so it has to be an open public graveyard. No location, no address, just there, quiet, anonymous. And here's something that won't let up. In my own experience, and I can promise many of you can too, I've never had a family member dig a grave, let alone dig one on TV, let alone profit from it. And the idea of Kody digging a grave for his son, for an urn, just doesn't feel right, even feels wrong. Sure, we know the Browns have bought plots next to each other, and Janelle even mentioned that she bought one next to Garrison. That's not unusual, but burying an urn in the ground like this, it's just not something I've seen very often. Of course, we all grieve differently. I have respect for that. And let me make one thing clear. I'm not opposed to cremation, but I've never been to a funeral where the ashes were buried straight into the ground. That's calarium, those little wall niches at the cemetery, for me. So if you've experienced something like what the Browns are doing, just hang in there with me. I'm just speaking from my own limited experience. But more, and this is what made me really angry. This show, which is so emotional and sad, features several of the children. But in accordance with Gwendolyn, as confirmed through other sources, most of the children featured weren't even being paid for their time on camera. They're coming for the family, not for pay. Maybe they're having their travel and Airbnb covered. But it's not a vacation. It's Wyoming. It's grief. It's family obligation. And the fact that they're filming it all, it just leaves me with so many mixed emotions. And just when you can't conceptualize it anymore, a Teen Vogue article this week was published. Gwendolyn made a great statement a little while back that stuck with me. We never profited from the show. Let that hit you. She explained that the producers tended to trap the children with sudden, intimate questions, moments of sheer exposure that they had not requested to be put on display. These agonizing moments, she claims, were sold to television even if it was against the desire of the children. And you're left to wonder, were they ever really given an option? Particularly now that the family is getting ready to bid farewell to Garrison. It seems like the kids are being asked to do it all over again. Perhaps they feel duty-bound. Perhaps they understand that if they stay away, their absence will be portrayed in terms that are not entirely true to the reality of their relationship with Garrison. And that's a painful burden to bear, appearing not for the cameras, but to honor their brother's memory. But this is the portion that really made my stomach churn. From what I've heard, Kody will be digging the grave himself in the show. And I don't know about you, but I don't need to see that. I do not want to watch anyone digging a grave on TV, much less a dad who has such an involved and painful history with the son he's burying. And here's the thing that really made me ill. My brain flashed right back to an older incident when Kody had planted the family dog in their Leahy backyard. That memory hit me like a tidal wave. Is this episode supposed to be reminiscent of that? Are we really minimizing this moment to being something performative, a parallel enacted for the sake of dramatics? Let's get real. You can hire professionals to dig up a burial site. You don't have to actually dig the grave to demonstrate your sorrow. And when it's coming from Kody, a man who by all accounts was emotionally distant from Garrison's life, it begins to read less like love and more as a publicity stunt. Something done less for his son's memory and more for the camera. I find myself constantly wondering what Garrison would think if he watched this. Remember, his final messages conveyed anger and heartbreak regarding the show. He was heard but not understood, frustrated and taken advantage of. His intimate suffering became public, and now, even in death, his narrative is being crafted by a machine that never fully listened to him. And the worst part, it does not stop. Even for the grown-ups, whether they show up on television or not, their names, their beefs, their lives, all of it is up for grabs, if it is useful to providing a narrative that is useful to Kody or Robyn. Nobody is safe. Anyone who is associated with them could be a plot twist, a segment or a brawl in a show they did not sign up for. That's not only agonizing, it's hazardous. But amidst all of that, there was a silver lining, something that seemed like it actually would have made a difference to Garrison. When Janelle went to the High Country Humane Society in Flagstaff, she heard about the AAT adoption room, an area which they subsequently named after Garrison. Due to support from the community and donations, more than $25,000 was collected. That's not a figure, that's lives altered. Cats were homed, families expanded, adoption fees were waived for dozens of animals, so that individuals could take a pet home without the obstacle of expense. And that difference is something that is tangible. I recall last year at the peak of all this, I contributed a significant amount of the profits of my videos to the High Country Humane and another shelter in Flagstaff. It had felt like the right thing to do, something small and good that could radiate outward. Now in this adoption room, Garrison's room, there's a plaque with his name on it. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's where our attention should be, on what he believed in, on what really mattered to him, on the good his life continues to inspire. Yes, all three were adopted from High Country Humane, and here's what really warmed my heart. As a result of those acts of generosity in his name, so many needy animals received the love, protection, and care that they deserved. That cat adoption room, now dedicated to his memory, is an exquisite tribute to his legacy. It is not merely a plaque on a wall, it is a living area of healing and hope, a place where forgotten animals become family. And amazingly, all three cats of Garrison were from that same humane society. That's how you remember people, that's how you pay tribute to them. By loving the causes they loved, not by announcing their funeral. Garrison had such a tender heart, particularly for animals who were dumped, forgotten. To him, those cats were not only pets, they were his friends, his family. He was a man who believed in saving the helpless, even if it was hard. Anyone who's had a rescue pet can attest to the difficulty that's involved. The trauma, the fear, the long journey towards trust. And yet he did that voluntarily, with his entire heart to those animals. That was the kind of person he was. So when Janelle honored him in that shelter visit, when donations found homes with dozens of animals, that was right. That was sacred. It wasn't about cashing in on pain. It was about cashing in on grief, and turning it into purpose. And that's why what TLC is presenting us with now feels so egregiously wrong. I keep thinking of when we buried my mother-in-law. That hour, those last private moments before burial were heartbreaking. We laid roses on her casket. A few of us helped set dirt as a farewell gesture. It hurt. It was personal. It was holy. I don't imagine cameras in that moment. I couldn't believe it would be on national TV. The process of burying a loved one was reduced to a plot point. And yet here we are asked to witness Kody Brown digging his son's grave on television. A son he was not there to support in life. A son whose emotional hurt he apparently never really accepted. A son who felt invisible up until this point. And now he appears now when the cameras are on. It looks more like image management and less like mourning. A desperate cry to reframe the story as the bereaved father despite the emotional absence during Garrison's life contradicting this. And the worst part, this moment, one that was supposed to be about Garrison, healing, reflection, is all about Kody. Again, how do you forgive something like that? Honestly, I don't know if I can. It's like a betrayal, not only to Garrison but to all the viewers who wanted dignity and respect in the way his memory would be true. I keep thinking that Kody still has too much say, that somehow even in these moments the other adults present must agree to it. And if they are fine with this being broadcast, questions are raised, difficult questions. We could have taken this opportunity to learn, to talk honestly about suicide, mental illness, and the warning signs that we tend to miss. We could have made people aware of what they can do, what they can look out for, how to support someone who is in trouble. We could have saved lives, but what we get instead is a grave-digging scene. And that to me is unconscionable. It makes me think of that Lee hen dog burial again, that same faked grief, that same sinking sensation. And here I am wondering, should I even be watching this episode? I don't know, I really don't, but I needed to tell you all this, because if you've been watching this story develop and feel just as I do, sickened, heartbroken, angry, you're not alone. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new and hit the bell so you know when new videos release. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Bye everyone.